Well, we are finally getting our coverage of Zohran Mamdani from me. Now, better late than never. It is 9:16 of election night. I wanted to it's pointless at this point, I'm not influencing any votes, not that I really reach too many people anyway, but I did want to cover this. So, we're going to talk about his platform, some of the things that have been said about him, and how this started. We can go back further, but let's start on June 24th, 2025. This past June, they had the mayoral primary in New York City for the Democratic candidate. Andrew Cuomo, Brad Lander, and Zohran Mamdani were the top three. Cuomo and Mamdani were supposed to be a lot closer in this race, and it was supposed to go more than one round. But this is what happens when you have a candidate that actually speaks for the people and wants to directly help people. This is what happens when you have a candidate who doesn't take corporate money and just says and does what the people want. There was a debate during the primary, and they went around and asked each candidate, where are you gonna go when you win? And everybody was saying Israel and this and that. I think all of them actually said Israel. Maybe one or two didn't. Guess what Zoran said? I'm gonna stay right here where I'm needed, where I can help people, what I was elected to do. That might have been the turning point, honestly. Because although he was already gonna hey, chill, dog's being loud. Because that was already the point where they knew his policies. He was popular based on that. He was going to win the primary. It just wasn't going to be in the first round. But I think people heard that I'm going to stay here and help you directly. That's what they wanted. They've tried every smear campaign on this guy. Some of the most Islamophobic shit you've ever heard. Hakeem Jeffries, I believe, has endorsed him. It took them a while. I think Hakeem Jeffries just endorsed him like 2 weeks ago. Chuck Schumer still hasn't endorsed him. He's the Democratic candidate, blue no matter who, right? Well, Kirsten Gillibrand in New York, the U.S. senator there, besides Chuck Schumer, has said some of the most Islamophobic shit I've heard. Cuomo can't even pronounce his name, and says some of the most Islamophobic shit I've heard about Zohran Mamdani. But to get into who he is would take a whole other segment. Um, I mean, like his history, his long term history, who his dad is, and who he is. Put it this way: we can go through Wikipedia real quick. Born in Uganda, he's not going to be running for president. At best, he could be a senator. I'm okay with that. Other political affiliations: working families, Democratic Socialists of America. Um, this guy lives in, I believe it's like government housing. Like he's not a rich person. He is a people of the people. He lives among the people. Now, I wouldn't compare him to FDR just yet. He hasn't done enough. Um, LaGuardia, same thing. But we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens once he wins tonight and takes office. But as you can see, he's in favor of freezing the rent. He's in favor of cracking down on bad landlords, building affordable housing. Just to get into it real quick, Eric Adams had taken every opportunity to squeeze tenants with his hand-picked appointees to the Rent Guidelines Board, jacking up rents on stabilized apartments by 12.6% and counting, the most since a Republican ran City Hall. That is what Cuomo is complaining about. That he's going to lower people's rent or prevent people's rent from increasing as it has. Cracking down on bad landlords. 1 in 10 renter households reported a lack of adequate heat last winter. 1 in 4 reported mice or rats in their homes. 500,000 live in a poor quality house. So things like this should not be an issue. There was a debate in the general between Mamdani, Sliwa, and Zohran where they talk about 311. Tenants will be able to schedule and track inspections with a revamped 311. If a landlord refuses to make a repair, the city will do it and send them the bill. That is, I just got done plumbing. That is one of those things where I've seen landlords say, "No, I can't afford that," even though it's like, yeah, your tenant's gonna have to fucking suffer. Then that's fucking horrible. You should not be in this business. That is one of those things that's music to my ears to hear him say, no, the city will take care of it, and then we'll build a landlord. If they can't afford to be a landlord, they shouldn't be a fucking landlord. When it comes to affordability, he's been called a socialist on this, on freezing rent, of course, but he's been called a socialist on this, or a communist on this, even though, Kansas and other places throughout this fucking country have it too. Food prices are out of control. Nearly 9 in 10 New Yorkers say the cost of groceries is rising faster than their income. Only the very wealthiest aren't feeling squeezed at the register. Um, I like this idea simply because he's basing it on that. How can we help them directly? It's the same idea as Medicare for all. Let's give them at cost insurance. Let's give them at cost healthcare. In this case, let's give them at cost groceries. I mean, yeah, they're still going to have to make some money to pay workers, to pay the fees to stay open, all of that, to clean, be inspected, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's going to cost less. As mayor, Zohran will create a network of city-owned grocery stores focused on keeping prices low, not making a profit without having to pay rent or property taxes. They will reduce overhead and pass on savings to shoppers. They will buy and sell wholesale price, centralize warehousing and distribution, and partner with local neighborhoods on products and sourcing. This will also lead to an increase in consumer spending and job creation. Plain and simple, it's job creation too. With New York City already spending millions of dollars to subsidize private grocery store operators, which are not even required to take SNAP and WIC, we should redirect public money to a real public option. That is the key word, public option. I'm in favor of a lot of things being socialized. Obviously, we probably should not socialize an entire industry like groceries, like agriculture. Um, Health insurance has been abused to the point that I think it should be. Education, I think we need to have a vastly expanded public option. I think grocery stores at this point too, pharmaceuticals, um, affordability. We're still on that. Fast fare free buses. I wish they had this around me. There was a good 6 years in the last 10 years that I could have used this. Public transit should be reliable, safe, and universally accessible. But 1 in 5 New Yorkers struggle to afford the ever rising fare. Adding insult to injury, our city's buses are the slowest in the nation, robbing working people of precious time for family, leisure, and rest. I've been told by Philadelphians that they have the slowest buses in the nation, but I've been told by more people that it's New York. I've heard DC, I've heard Philly, but I've heard from more people and seen more online. It's New York City. Zoran won New York's first fare-free bus pilot on. I'm sorry. Zoran won New York's first fare-free bus pilot on 5 lines across the city. That's more than Cuomo has done ever. Sorry. He ain't done shit compared to that. As mayor, he'll permanently eliminate the fare on every city bus and make them faster by rapidly building priority lanes, expanding bus queue jump signals, and dedicating loading zones to keep double parkers out of the way. Fast and free buses will not only make buses reliable and accessible, but will improve safety for riders and operators, creating the world-class service New Yorkers deserve. Now, I do want to get into something real quick. During the debate between Sliwa, Mamdani, and Cuomo basically just said, "Oh, these are all fantasies." Sliwa said the same thing. They basically offered no option. Sliwa offered more, it seemed like more of like a libertarian option, just let it be. Cuomo basically sided with corporations on it. He didn't really offer any fucking plan. So those are a few things that I really care about when it comes to Mamdani. Let's move on to childcare. So, of course, now that I'm doing this video, my program's crashing on me. I probably don't have enough RAM or something. But just to go through it with labor, he's in favor of the right to collective bargaining and fight for strong contracts. Zohran's spoken about increasing fast food minimum wage. Um, he wants to raise the minimum wage by $30 by 2030. I think honestly, in Pennsylvania right now, it's $26 an hour is the cost of living. I make less than that. Um, yeah, most places need to be running like this. He's not saying tomorrow. He's saying by 2030 we're going to catch up to it. And in the meantime, he's going to make everything more affordable. Small business. He's talked about getting rid of speeding up permits, getting rid, cutting some business fines, cutting red tape that people have talked about being a hassle. He'll appoint a mom and pop star to make sure it happens. People who will expedite these things. We need stuff like that. Trump proofing the city. He talks about fighting back against ICE. He'll fight Trump's attempts to gouge the working class and deliver a city where everyone can afford a dignified life. He'll ensure our immigrant New Yorkers are protected by strengthening our sanctuary city apparatus. So he is the candidate that is about affordability. He's about direct help, lowering cost, increasing wages, protecting workers' rights. He's in favor of creating a less polluted environment and not emitting as much greenhouse gases in the time being, but eventually, a carbon neutral environment in New York City. That would be amazing. I don't think one man can do that, but if there was one man that could do that, it would be Zohran Mamdani. I would love to go into everything about him. The fact of the matter is, I don't have the time. I've been stretched thin with school, with work. It's tough times in this country, not just me personally, but I mean, I see, but other people are struggling. I'm struggling with too. So it is one of those times where I haven't been able to focus on these videos as much, unfortunately. And I really wanted to cover him more. But just to get into it, because we are on this topic, like I said, it's tonight. I haven't looked at the results yet. I do know that Mickey Sherrill won, Abigail Spanberger won. They need to both take a line from DJ Casper and slide to the left because they won based on their candidates not being good, being weak. In Virginia, Winsome Earl Sears, she did say it's not discrimination to fire someone for their sexual orientation. She said it's not discrimination to ban gay marriage. Um, the New Jersey race, I didn't focus on too much. Mickey Sherrill, pretty much Abigail Spanberger. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Zohran Mamdani right now, 60% in, and it's closer than we expected. But 49.6 to 41.6, he is up 8 points. Curtis Lewa, a close third. And honestly, if there was a Republican that I wasn't threatened by, it's Curtis Lewa. Eric Adams dropped out, but apparently 3,600 people still cast a vote for him. My prediction is Zohran's going to win with at least 50% of the vote. We'll see what happens. That little yellow island there is Staten Island. I don't know why New York is so blue, and then Staten Island is just, they just want to vote for Cuomo or Sliwa or whoever the conservative, the right winger is in that race. Just crazy. Correct me if I'm wrong. The guy running in Minneapolis, I've covered him a few times. Omar Fateh, he is running for mayor. Now, he was endorsed by, I think it was the Democratic Socialist or the Farmer Labor Party, the party out in Minnesota that's really prevalent that controls everything. They were endorsed by him, and I believe they pulled their endorsement for him. He is just like Zohran Mamdani on a few things. I would say he's getting attacked by conservatives because he is black. He is left. He is in favor of workers' rights. He is in favor of direct help and affordability. I'm going to do another video tomorrow to cover the elections, and we're going to see how things go with that race. We're going to see how things go with the judicial retention in my state of Pennsylvania. We're going to see how California Prop 50 goes, and a few other races. There's some special elections coming up. Afton Bain in Tennessee for a congressional race. It's a Republican district, but if there's like I said, if there's people who can win these races and do these things, it's left wing Democrats that have charisma like Zohran or Omar or Afton Bain or Graham Plattner and have great platforms like Zohran, increasing minimum wage to $30 an hour, universal child care, free bus fare. freezing rent prices, going after corrupt landlords, increasing taxes on corporations. The list goes on. This is what we need to do in this country to win. Because up till now, Democrats have not been fighting outside of AOC, Bernie, a little bit Tim Walz, Graham Plattner, Zohran, and a couple others. There was a recent poll that came out that there was a huge swing in opinions of Republicans and Democrats. A lot of it has to do with the shutdown, but Democrats have barely been fighting and messaging on it. But Democrats are now more favorable. They were completely underwater before. Um, just to go into it real quick, Trump is like has been minus double digits approval rating for like the last 4 months, 5 months, and it's only getting worse. So we need to capitalize on that. We need to actually tell people we're going to help them, how we're going to help them, and then do it once we get in office. That was my biggest criticism of Biden. We did not have enough Bernies and Zohrans in Congress. We did not have enough AOCs, and it seems like the tide's turning, and now's the time for left wing America to shine. If a Fox News poll is showing that Democrats, or if a Fox News poll from a few years ago is showing that single payer healthcare, Medicare for all, is more popular than the current system we have among most people, independents, Democrats, and even Republicans, they need to go in that direction. And before we log off, 50.5 to 41.3 with 83% in. I think it's safe to say that Zohran just won. Have a good night.